Is China going to collapse? The nation that once exported your computer, air conditioner, and even shoes is heading for a recession. Every country goes through some dark periods, and China is in the midst of theirs right now. Undoubtedly, this is bad news, since it indicates that a worldwide recession is imminent if the world's second largest economy may collapse. Therefore, the question is it simply a rumor or is it actually happening? Let's watch the video to get the answers. China's economy is in trouble. The likelihood of a genuine recession is high, and the best case scenario for the current administration would be gradual growth that is far slower than in recent years. Recent news reports are dominated by indications of economic weakening in China. In July 2022, the youth unemployment rate was around 20%. According to the most recent statistics, home sales dropped 40% from a year earlier, and the Purchasing Managers Index decreased. Over the last 4 quarters, the GDP increased by just 0.4% less than the national aim of 5.5% growth. This is not the end. There are a lot more reasons why analysts is expecting a recession. Let's discuss each of them in detail. A knock-on effect of climate on China's economy. China will experience the negative economic impacts of the excessive heat as heat waves sweep the nation. While several cities around the country are projected to exceed 104 degrees, other towns are on heightened alert for temperatures exceeding 95 degrees. This extreme heat will affect the economy through power constraints, low agriculture yield, and effects on delivery trucks and other outside workers. Crop production will also be impacted by extreme heats. According to a McKinsey & Company report, intense heat waves brought on by climate change in China are anticipated to lower agricultural yields of wheat, corn, and rice by 10% annually. Crop health, production, growing season duration, and crop maturity pattern are all impacted by heat waves. China has already experienced an increase in pork prices due to concern over crop failure. The growth of important pig feeds, including soy meal, maize, and wheat, is challenged by rising temperatures. 1/4 of the world's grain is produced in China. Therefore, a reduction in China's growth potential will have an impact on both local and global food security. China has experienced electricity shortages recently. To comply with energy constraints, several factories were compelled to cut back on their operating hours or perhaps shut down completely. As a result, over half of China's construction processes were adversely affected, which led to a possible decrease in the economic growth of 1% or more. The lack of electricity also had a negative impact on international supply chains, since many businesses had major delays in receiving the supplies they needed for production and sales, which increased cost for both those businesses and their end consumers. China's water crisis might tarnish the world's economic prospects. A heat wave of unparalleled severity is exacerbating China's serious water shortage situation. For China's industry, the drought has proven disastrous. Additionally, foreign investors must pay heed. Water is essential for the production of electricity, industry, manufacturing, agriculture, and other sectors. Therefore, China's acute energy crisis is being made worse by the country's water shortage, in addition to its impact on agricultural productivity. While methods like cloud seeding increase rainfall, they also probably make severe weather patterns worse. Transfers of water from drier to wetter areas have long been a source of support for Beijing. However, indications of severe water stress in areas once thought to be water abundant, such as the Pearl River Delta, imply that these transfers may soon be impractical. Desalination on a large scale is also not feasible due to the enormous power consumption needed and the absence of distribution systems to transport water from the coast to China's interior. Is the world economy at peril if China's real estate crisis becomes worse? Undoubtedly, the housing sector's unfavorable attitude and weak real estate activity have hindered growth. Due to a fact that up to 1/3 of China's GDP is made up of industries that contribute to the economy, including real estate, has had a significant negative impact on it, GDP, homebuyers have been refusing to pay their mortgages on partially constructed structures, and some aren't sure their homes will ever be finished. The decline in demand for new dwellings has decreased the requirement to import building materials. Home prices have fallen by more than 20% this year in dozens of locations, despite Beijing's attempts to support the real estate industry. Property developers are under pressure, analysts say. Therefore, government action to restore trust in the real estate market may need to go further. China's property issues are partially the consequence of intentional governmental choices. Beijing implemented a 3 red line strategy in August 2020 to gradually deflate a huge property bubble that had been building for years. The strategy aimed to reduce the economy's excessive reliance on real estate and to rein in the speculation that had driven up housing costs beyond the means of many Chinese middle-class families. In July, home values fell for the 11th consecutive month. They are currently down up to 30% from a year ago. According to Gabriel Wildow, General Director of Risk Research Business Teneo, China is currently going through a policy-induced crisis. Tech companies gradually move production out of China. The newest generation of smartphones from Apple and Google will be unveiled in the coming weeks, with both companies competing to set them apart from older versions. However, one of the biggest modifications won't be recognized by most consumers. Some of these phones won't be produced in China. The move is a reaction to rising worries about the regional tensions and pandemic-related supply chain disruptions that have impacted China in recent years. China's particular problem is the increase in labor expenses, due to which tech companies are fleeing away. According to Statista, wages in China have increased by 155% over the past 10 years, from 41,799 won, $6,054 in 2011, to 106,837 won, $15,474 in 2021. Although this is still only around one-third of what a comparable worker in the US would earn, the disparity is no longer startling. Chinese labor costs, which were previously the draw of manufacturing in China, are no longer a significant benefit. The only nations extracting gas to keep costs down are those where fuel prices are rising internationally. However, because of the costly COVID legislation, which restricted shipping, particularly in the Guangdong province, shipping costs began to rise in China. One of the major maritime ports for the entire world is the 126 million person province, which is somewhat smaller than the state of New York. Increased regulations that slow shipping, rising labor costs in urban areas, and higher tariffs for specific goods have all diminished its value as a shipping hub. As a result of this change, electronic firms are searching for new manufacturing and transportation hubs. Chinese tech giants are losing influence from the world. Many of China's largest technological businesses, which have historically provided high returns for worldwide investors, are losing favor with many of their early supporters. The bleak picture for the country's IT sector has led investors to lock in gains while they can. Tencent, the Hong Kong-listed gaming and social media powerhouse, is an example. Naspers, the South African internet giant that initially invested in Tencent more than 2 decades ago, stated on Thursday that it had sold 1.1 million Tencent shares, reducing its ownership interest to less than 28%. The action not only demonstrates that it has plainly abandoned its prior vow not to sell its stock, but it also indicates that additional disposals are on the horizon. Naspers' foreign investment arm, Proces, located in the Netherlands, signified its plan by depositing an extra 192 million shares, worth around $7.6 billion in the Hong Kong Central Clearing and Settlement System. The withdrawal in technology by foreign investment Goliaths indicates an essential cyclical transformation in China's economy, says Brock Silvers, Chief Investment Officer at Hong Kong-based Kaiyuan Capital. The exorbitant growth rates that spawned large IT riches are unlikely to recur. International Monetary Fund. The International Monetary Fund has reduced its prediction for China's growth to 3.2% this year, down from 8.1% in 2021. That would be the country's second lowest growth rate in 46 years, after only the inaugural coronavirus pandemic in 2020. Under Xi, China has not only become more isolated, but also suffered a deterioration in US-China ties. His unwillingness to denounce Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, as well as China's recent action against Taiwan, may further distance the country from Washington and its backers. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments. That was all from our side. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Also, subscribe to our channel so you never miss an update. Moreover, share this video with your fellows. Until next time.